Have you ever walked through ancient ruins and felt a chill run down your spine, as if you weren't entirely alone? Today, we're journeying deep into the heart of Cambodia to explore the haunting tales of the Khmer temples and the spirits that are said to still guard these sacred stones. These aren't just ghost stories for a campfire. They are deeply woven into the cultural fabric of Cambodia, a testament to a history filled with devotion, sacrifice, and unbreakable vows. The Khmer Empire, which flourished from the 9th to the 15th centuries, left behind a legacy of architectural marvels. Angkor Wat, Bayon Ta Prom. These names conjure images of breathtaking beauty, of stone faces smiling enigmatically from jungle-clad towers. But for many locals, these temples are more than just historical sites. They are living, breathing places, inhabited by the spirits of those who built them, defended them, and worshipped within their walls. Who are these spectral guardians? Legend says they are the souls of the empire's most loyal subjects. Imagine the countless soldiers who perished defending these holy sites from invaders. Their spirits, bound by an eternal duty, are said to still patrol the ancient causeways and galleries, their unseen presence a silent warning to those who would bring harm. Then there are the builders and artisans, the thousands of hands that carve these intricate reliefs and raise these massive sandstone blocks. Their creative energy, their very life force, is believed to be embedded in the stone itself, their spirits lingering to watch over their timeless masterpieces. We also hear whispers of the Apsaras, the celestial dancers carved into the temple walls. Some believe that the spirits of the royal court dancers, who dedicated their lives to performing sacred rituals, still gracefully move through the courtyards in the dead of night, their dance a perpetual offering to the gods. And of course, there are the monks, whose chants and prayers once echoed through these halls day and night. Their spiritual devotion was so profound that their ethereal presence remains, their silent meditation continuing for centuries. These aren't just random ghosts. They are protectors, bound by an ancient pact to safeguard the sanctity of these temples. So, what happens when you visit? Many travelers report unsettling experiences. You might be exploring a quiet corridor in Priya Khan, the sun filtering through the crumbling roof, when you suddenly feel a pair of eyes on your back. You turn, but there's no one there. Or perhaps you're walking the outer walls of Angkor Thom at dusk, and you hear the faint, rhythmic sound of marching feet, a ghostly patrol from a forgotten army. One of the most common tales involves strange, inexplicable lights. Tourists and guides have seen balls of light or orbs floating through the dark passageways of Ta Prom, the famous Tomb Raider temple. These lights flicker and move with an intelligence that defies explanation, sometimes appearing to lead visitors along a path, other times vanishing as quickly as they appeared. Could these be the spirits of monks, their lanterns still lit after all these centuries? Then there are the sounds. Faint chanting has been reported echoing from the upper levels of Angkor Wat long after the last monk has left. The sound of traditional Khmer music has been heard drifting from the terrace of the Leper King with no discernible source. And inside the dark, chamber-like structures of Bayon, with its hundreds of serene stone faces, people have heard whispers in a language they can't understand, feeling a sudden drop in temperature as if someone has just walked right through them. These feelings aren't limited to sounds and sights. Many visitors describe a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread or sadness in certain areas, particularly near sites associated with the empire's decline or historical battles. This emotional weight is believed to be a residue of the past, the sorrow of the spirits who witnessed tragedy within these walls. Others report sudden dizziness or disorientation, feeling as if they are being gently but firmly pushed away from a certain area, a spiritual no-entry sign. Now, here's where the story takes a crucial turn. These spirits are not considered malicious by nature. They are guardians, and their reaction depends entirely on your intentions and behavior. The stories serve as a powerful lesson in respect. Disrespect is what angers them. trying to climb on fragile carvings, shouting loudly in sacred enclosures, taking funny pictures, mocking the statues, or worse, attempting to steal a piece of the temple as a souvenir. These actions are seen as a grave insult. Local folklore is filled with cautionary tales about those who have shown disrespect. There are stories of tourists who mockingly posed with statues, only to find themselves inexplicably lost for hours, walking in circles until a local guide found them, pale and terrified. Others who pocketed a small stone from the ruins later experienced a string of misfortunes, from strange illnesses to persistent nightmares, which only ceased when they returned the stone, often with a formal apology and an offering. One well-known legend tells of a group who, against all advice, stayed in a remote temple after dark. They were loud, careless, and treated the site like a playground. As night fell, they were tormented by disembodied footsteps circling their camp, shadowy figures flitting at the edge of their firelight, and a growing sense of terror that drove them fleeing into the jungle, leaving all their belongings behind. They were found the next morning, disheveled and incoherent, unable to clearly explain what they had seen. But what about those who come with a pure heart? What about those who show respect? The stories say these visitors have nothing to fear. In fact, the spirits are said to protect and even guide them. If you walk quietly, if you take a moment to appreciate the history and the sacred energy of the place, if you offer a simple prayer or a moment of silent contemplation, the guardians are said to welcome you. There are beautiful accounts of travelers who got lost in the labyrinthine corridors of Banti Kadai as evening approached. Panicked, they stopped and quietly asked the spirits of the temple for help. Moments later, they felt a gentle breeze or saw a flicker of light that seemed to show them an overlooked path, leading them safely back to the main entrance. Some photographers, waiting patiently for the perfect shot, have felt a sudden, inexplicable urge to turn their camera to a specific spot just as the light hits it perfectly, capturing an image they never would have seen otherwise. Gift, they believe, from the temple's unseen inhabitants. A local guide once told me a story about his grandfather. As a young man, his grandfather would often meditate at a small, secluded shrine near the Bayon. One evening, he felt a strong, insistent feeling that he needed to leave immediately. He obeyed the feeling, and just as he cleared the area, a massive, ancient tree branch crashed down exactly where he had been sitting. He always believed it was a temple spirit that had warned him, protecting him for his devotion. These stories aren't meant to scare you away from visiting Cambodia's magnificent temples. On the contrary, they are meant to enrich your experience. They invite you to see these places not just as piles of old stones, but as living monuments, pulsating with history, energy, and the enduring spirits of the Khmer people. They teach us a universal truth, that sacred places, whether a grand cathedral, a humble shrine, or an ancient temple, command our respect. When you visit, remember the souls who are still there. Walk softly, speak quietly. Touch the cool stones and think of the hands that carved them 1,000 years ago. Take a moment to feel the profound peace that hangs in the air. You are not just a tourist. You are a guest in their eternal home. By showing respect for their history, their culture, and their sacred ground, you are not only ensuring your own safe passage, but also participating in the preservation of their legacy. You become part of the long, unbroken chain of humanity that has stood in awe of these incredible places. The spirits of the Khmer temples are not monsters from a horror film. They are the echoes of the past, the eternal guardians of a lost empire. They are a reminder that some vows are never broken and some duties never end. And if you listen closely, with an open heart and a respectful mind, you might just hear their ancient whispers on the Cambodian breeze. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the mysteries of Cambodia. If you enjoyed this exploration of history and folklore, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the world's most fascinating and enigmatic places. Until next time, travel with respect and wonder.